Hey guys, welcome back to the huddle. As promised, but this time I am joined by a different guest, and that is Miami Hurricanes executive producer and Telemundo's associate producer, Victor. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, my man. I've been looking forward to this. I've watched your shows before. I saw the most recent one with Rolando Cantu. Your dad's got is in trouble because you got a future in this thing. You can easily be taking over his job anytime now, and you're much younger and have way better hair. So we have a spot for you here.
Thank you.
You got
Uh,
it.
all right, let's get right into the news going on right now. Allen Robinson says he's unhappy in Chicago. How should we feel about that?
I'd be unhappy too. The weather stinks in Chicago, and unfortunately for him, he's in a difficult situation with the quarterback situation in the Chicago organization, which seems to have been the case for forever. They can't seem to get a quarterback that fits there. I am not a fan at all of Mitchell Trubisky. I got to see him up close and personal against the Miami Hurricanes. I know he had some success down here. That one game where the Tar Heels won, I believe it was in 2016. They came down here and they had a weird touchdown in the back of the end zone that shouldn't have been called a touchdown, and that's how they won the game. But I've never been a big fan of his. I wasn't impressed with his ACC play inside the Atlantic Coastal Conference when he was with North Carolina. I don't see what the Chicago Bears saw in him taking him so early. But then again, that's the reason why they're scouts, and I'm just a producer. They may have seen something that I didn't, but it's clearly not working out in Chicago. I don't blame Allen Robinson. He's a frustrated receiver coming from Jacksonville, who is another organization who has had numerous issues at the quarterback position. So I understand his frustrations. You know, he's wasting away his years, and it's something that a receiver doesn't have much longevity in this NFL, which stands not for long. And he wants to get out of there. I don't blame him at all. I would want to play with some of the elite quarterbacks that we're seeing around the league. And Chicago's not going to be that. Look, Nick Foles is great, but in spurts, he can do what he did for Philadelphia, come in, but you saw what happened when he got picked up. And it's just, I don't think the answer at the quarterback position in Chicago is currently on the roster. And if you're Allen Robinson, do you want to sit a whole another year on a roster without a decent quarterback and it's just affecting him? I totally understand why he wants out. I'm not sure what receiver would want to play for the Bears organization at this point.
Yeah, I feel the same, especially as a fantasy owner. I don't know how that's gonna work out, but I don't blame him. I mean, hopefully, I am rooting for Mr. Trubisky because it's a make or break year. I think
Yeah.
he has a lot of potential, but I mean, I think that defense is stacked. Like the roster's good. It's that question mark at the quarterback position that's kind of like holding them back. But I don't blame him either.
Look, he showed some flashes of being a decent quarterback. We saw that in the fourth quarter last week in week one. But for three quarters, it's just the same old Trubisky that we've seen year in and year out, and erratic at times. There's just no consistency. So I understand why Allen Robinson is frustrated. And I'm just not, how much longer do we need to wait around to see if Mr. Trubisky is going to pan out to be what they thought or hoped he would be?
Yeah. Especially he has even more pressure after being taken before Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, all of that. So
Yeah, Deshaun Watson. I'm a huge fan of Deshaun Watson. We talk about the ACC. I got to see him when he played the University of Miami down here in Miami. He's the reason why the Hurricanes decided to move on from Al Golden when he came down here and defeated Miami 58-0, the worst defeat in the University of Miami Hurricanes history, right here at Hard Rock Stadium. So he's one guy. Deshaun Watson is one ACC quarterback that I said, yeah, that guy's got it. Like, that's a future star. And we're seeing that in the NFL and his success with the Houston Texans early on in his career.
Oh yeah. Now let's move on to the next news. Let's go to injuries. We got Richard Sherman and Michael Thomas placed on IR. Is that really gonna for the 49ers? Is that really gonna affect them?
I think in the long run it can. I think this season it's shaping up great because they got the Jets. Like, who can not beat the Jets? So for this week, it's not a big deal for the 49ers, but you're already 0-1, and you're 0-1 in the division when you have suffering that loss to the Arizona Cardinals. So long term, yes. Short term, week 2 against the Jets, not at all. And in Michael Thomas's case, I think if there's any team in the NFL, with a roster that can withstand the injury of a Michael Thomas, look, he's arguably the best wide receiver in the league. That's why he got the big buck. It's why the Saints paid him the amount of money that they did. But it's such a good roster offensively with, all the weapons they have stacked around Michael Thomas that I think they'll be okay as well.
Yeah, I also think the same way. I think the Saints probably have the best roster in the NFL.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we saw that last week.
Oh, for sure.
Everybody decided to crown the Bucks, NFC champions, Super Bowl contenders, and I wouldn't be surprised if they start the year 0-2. It's just, people are crowning the Bucks because of Tom Brady, and they just seem to have forgotten there's this guy, Drew Brees, who plays in the same division. And by the way, the Panthers, I love what they did with Teddy Bridgewater. I'm biased towards Teddy Bridgewater. He's from Miami, played high school ball at Northwestern, decided to go to Louisville over the Miami Hurricanes, so I hold that against him. But, you can't discount McCaffrey and Bridgewater and all the success they've been able to have. Bridgewater as a starter. We saw what he did with the Saints a year ago, going 5-0, all the success he had in Minnesota, taking that team to the playoffs. So, don't crown the Bucks just yet, because they may not even win the division, to be honest with you.
No, honestly, no, especially with that Bruce Arians playbook.
Yeah, it's erratic. It's erratic, and it's difficult, and it's difficult for a quarterback to adapt to. Carson Palmer had success with it. Let's see, the jury's still out. Will Tom Brady be able to have success? Tom Brady did show some signs later on with the Patriots of, losing a step or two. And it's pretty late in his career to adapt to a new system. But, Bruce Arians, he's a proven coach. If there's someone that can get it to work, it is Bruce Arians. But I'm a little skeptical on Tom Brady and this stage in his career.
Yeah, I think that if he doesn't have the best year and Bill Belichick goes out and makes the playoffs, sneaks in, I think it can hurt Tom Brady a lot with his legacy. Absolutely.
You're absolutely right, because if Tom Brady does not qualify for the playoffs, which he should, or just put it this way, if the Patriots advance further than the Tampa Bay Bucks, when it's all likelihood they will, that's going to look bad on Tom Brady, because you ended up leaving, not necessarily in bad fashion, but now we're hearing the rumors coming out that his wife was unhappy with Belichick, and there was some animosity between the coach and the star player and even the family. And if Tom Brady does not have the success with the Bucks that Cam Newton has with the Patriots, then that's going to be looked at as, was it really Tom Brady, or was it just the system and the Patriots, Bill Belichick? So, the jury's out. It's still up in the air, and it's something for sure to keep an eye on this season.
Yeah, I think, like I said, Bill Belichick, in my opinion, is the best coach of all time. Whenever he had missing pieces, he somehow find a way to replace them. I think, maybe 1 or 2 Super Bowls came off of Bill Belichick. That defense carried him. Like I said, 1 or 2 years to the Super Bowl, Tom Brady.
Yep.
So especially with the roster around that he has, Tom Brady. So I think it can really hurt him.
Look, firsthand being a Miami Dolphin fan. I know extremely well being a Buffalo Bills fan. Tom Brady lost to the Buffalo Bills 3 times out of 35 meetings. So he literally beat the Buffalo Bills 32 occasions. And you guys know firsthand, Bill Belichick wins with anyone. In 2008, when you guys won the division, the Miami Dolphins won the division, Bill Belichick won 11 games with Matt Castle. So if anyone's going to know how great Bill Belichick is, it's you as a Dolphin fan and me as a Buffalo Bills fan. Greatest coach by far to ever do it. Someone can make the case for Don Shula, of course, and deservingly so. But just the stuff that Bill Belichick is able to do with the roster, like you said, the guys he drafts, you got to keep in mind it's his defense. He's the defensive minded guru there. The two giant Super Bowls that they won under Bill Parcells, who was the defensive coordinator? Bill Belichick. Keep that in mind. Great. Yes, he had Lawrence Taylor, arguably the best player of all time. But Bill Belichick is the reason why they had that success. And it's clearly, in my opinion, the reason why the Patriots have won so many Super Bowls. Granted, not taking anything away from Tom Brady. He's great. But Bill Belichick is the best at what he's ever done. And you can say the same thing for Tom Brady. But there's a lot of other guys that you can throw in that picture as far as best quarterback of all time. Someone can make the case for Dan Marino. Someone will say John Elway. There's guys that you can throw around there, but the hardware belongs to Tom Brady. But when it comes to the coaching side, I don't think there's much of an argument when you put Bill Belichick at the top.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, now let's go deep. We're going deep.
Do it.
Who is the top contender for Allen Robinson if he requests a trade?
For Allen Robinson, I would think it's I would love to see. I'm not sure. I don't think they would get into that. Maybe not. I would love to see him end up in Baltimore. I think Lamar Jackson could use an Allen Robinson type. I love what they're doing. I think Coach Harbaugh is one of the best player coaches in the league. Would love to see him get paired up with Lamar Jackson, another South Florida high school talent who had major success down here. Would love to see that pairing. I think that's a match made in heaven for Lamar and Allen Robinson. Right off the top, if you were, I was forced to choose someone, I would love to see Baltimore go after Allen Robinson and try to make that trade. I think it's the perfect match.
That was my pick, but I would like to see him there, but I don't think they're gonna do it. I mean, they didn't go after AB, who was there. I just don't see them going after Allen Robinson. I feel especially since they're like a run-heavy team, I don't see them going after them.
Where do you think he would end up? Like, who do you think would make that trade or reach out to the Bears for him?
I would like to think, I don't know, like probably Buffalo.
Oh, I would love that. But they gave up a lot for Steven Diggs in the offseason, though. What about the Jets? The Jets could use him.
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't.
But Santi, let's keep Allen Robinson out of the AFC East. We don't want to see him here.
Oh.
Like, do you want to see that guy twice a year?
No, thank you. I already have enough with Stephon Diggs.
And you're a Dolphin fan. Why would the Dolphins should try to pull that trade off? I'm not sold on Devontae Parker. I thought he was great at Louisville and had major success with Teddy Bridgewater, but he's injury prone. Like even last week, like you're still waiting for that number one receiver, and I'm not sold that Devontae Parker is that number one guy. So Allen Robinson with pairing with Tua eventually coming to Miami, I think that would be great too.
Oh yeah, I think Preston has a lot of potential. Preston Williams. I feel like Fitz had to throw more deep shots down the field against the Pats. So Preston was open almost every play. I don't know. I feel like we could blame. I feel like we could blame the defense for not stopping the run, but Fitz should have taken way more shots down the field. So
yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah. Our